Okay, I'm going to go over how to create a figure from means, and so we're going to look at stomatal density, and these values were calculated based on class data, and we're going to use the number of stomata per millimeter squared as our units. And when I used Excel to calculate the averages for the shade leaf, it was 182.8. For the sun leaf, it was 224.1, and then the standard deviations for the shade leaf was 135.3, and for the sun leaf 136.5. And I like to go ahead and add and subtract my standard deviations so I know kind of what range I'm looking at for my figure. So when I add my mean plus my standard deviation, that gets me 318. When I subtract it for the shade leaf, that's 47.5. And for the sun leaf, that's 360.6 and then 87.6. So the minimum value based on all of these is the 47.5 for my min that I want to be able to show, and my maximum is 360.6 value. Alright, so my figure is going to consist of 2 bars, one for my shade and one for my sun leaf. So my leaf type label is down here, and again I'm going to have a shade and a sun leaf. My y-axis is my dependent variable, so that's going to be stomatal density. And don't forget your units. So number per millimeter squared. And then we just said that we want 360 to be our max. So if we start down here at 0, I don't really like to use like fractions, or I like to use numbers that are easy to count in my head. So I'm going to round that 360 to 400, and that will be my greatest value. And then you need to draw hash marks for your axis that are equidistant, and each one should have a similar value. So I might have some hash marks like this where I go 100, 200, 300, 400, and then this would be at the 50 marks, and then at the 25. Okay, so I've got my ticks on my y-axis. Now I would like to go ahead and draw my bars for their means. So I'm going to do the shade leaf in a dark color here, and the shade leaf, its mean is at 182. So I'm going to draw my bar up to about 182. Okay, so there's my shade bar for my mean. Now let's do the sun. And for the sun, its mean is 224. So that's going to be about right here. So the bars represents my means, and then my standard deviation bars, those are going to be drawn in as an I bar. So we're going to go up to 318, which is about here, and it's going to go all the way down to 47, which is about here. And then the sun leaf goes up to about 360, so about here, and will end at about 87.6, so about here. And there's my I bar for my sun leaf, showing my variation there, and then don't forget your figure description. So this is the average leaf stomatal density for leaves collected in the sun and shade, and that's going to be the mean plus or minus 1 standard deviation is being shown.